Hey guys, Soul Reaver here from WPNR Gaming. I just wanted to go through the question mark difficulty of the Nullaeus fight really quick. I'm kind of going to give a little bit of a walkthrough from how I experienced it and what I did to kind of figure some things out that may be helpful to some other people. So I guess we'll start out with the enchants. So I just grabbed the enchants right off of Wildhead for Ret Paladin, and I went with everything except for speed. Speed probably is super helpful here, but I was trying to mitigate how much money I was spending because it was pretty costly to buy these enchants in the first place. I also used their recommendation for consumables. The most important one here is Hirandar Celebration. That stacks with the food that Valeera puts down. Actually, I take that back. The most important is the Combat Potion, Light's Potential. You're going to need that for the Magus, so absolutely don't sleep on that. Grab it. And then let's just kind of jump into the pull here, and I'll just talk a little bit as it's happening. So the most important thing here with this guy is making sure we interrupt the emptiness of the void. So this is going to be the only interruptible skill that he has, and it's critical to interrupt it. It will wipe you if it goes off. A lot of the guides are going to tell you to go ahead and try to wait to the end of the cast, and that's great advice, but I was just freaked out all the time and interrupted it as soon as I saw it just to be sure that it was interrupted. What you're seeing here on the ground is Valeera's healing. So she puts 2 circles on the ground as a healer. One is green, and that's going to be a heal. The other is purple, and that's a damage reduction. You want to stand in those as much as possible. I think the purple one's probably more important just because of how hard he can hit, especially in the last 15% of the fight. So I always prioritized purple, and I tried to obviously stand in the 2 of them whenever possible. Sometimes they can kind of make a figure 8 pattern, so you want to just stand in the middle of that as much as you can. Always be kind of aware of where those healing potions are. You're going to want to grab those as soon as you start taking some damage. A really critical aspect of this fight for Ret Paladin especially, for only Ret Paladin, is to make sure you're not spamming Word of Glory at the first, probably 60 to 70% of this guy's health. The problem with spamming Word of Glory is that it uses mana, and if you're down under 50% of mana in the last chunk of the fight, you will not be able to survive the fight. There's just not enough healing from Valeera, and you don't have enough defensives to get through it. So you're going to want to really, really, really keep it in your mind to try as hard as you can not to use Word of Glory. And if you do use it, bring some mana potions with to keep you as close to topped off as you can. You want to be at least 75% going into the last phase of the fight. When he gets to 75%, he calls out these 2 adds. They do physical damage with a bleed. So if you're going to bubble, which you may need to do, you're going to want to try to save that bubble for when Nullaeus comes back up. So see, he just came up, and now we need to be aware of his cast. So they're going to jump to that circle. They do that kind of frequently. We're going to wait for them to get to that circle, get close to Nullaeus, and then keep our eyes on that cast. So I'm burning them down, standing in the damage reduction. And if you're going to need to use a bubble, you need to use Divine Shield here. Because what we need is Divine Shield to be up for the last add, the Magus. So if you flip-flop it and you use Bop here, and then let's say on the second round of adds you use Divine Shield, you won't have Divine Shield for the Magus. And that's super, super important. So here we're just getting the interrupt. We're grabbing some health. We're moving off of that purple void streak. I think it does like 200,000 damage a second or something like that you're standing in it, so we really don't want to be in it. Sometimes you can get away with standing in it and it won't tick. But then other times you could dip your toe in it and you're going to get that 1 second tick. So just be kind of conscious of that. As you can see here, we're just blasting away. I'm just using cooldowns as much as possible. He's going to get to 50%, and when he gets to 50%, he'll call out the adds. You want to try to be conscious of his health. You want to kind of say to yourself, all right, he's getting close to that 50%. I probably don't want to blow all my cooldowns here. Even though the cooldowns come back like around 30 seconds, you still want to try to have them available for the adds. We need to get them down as quickly as possible, especially the second grouping of adds. They do a ton of damage. Even though they're really easy to kill, they can clap you pretty quick. So here we're just mitigating damage. We're trying to hit him as much as we can, keep the damage going. We're keeping our eyes peeled for emptiness of the void. You can kind of try to strategically pull him around so that, as you see here in my fight, the void isn't underneath the adds where they spawn. They always spawn in the same spot. There's really no rhyme or reason to where those go. It seems to be total RNG, so I was unlucky here, but we still get the damage going. If we need to use any kind of shield, we're going to use Bop on these guys. Even though they do poison damage, we're going to just try to mitigate the physical that they're hitting us with so that we can keep our Divine Shield for the last ad. Grabbing potions when my health gets low, just going to keep that pumping. One of the new mechanics that comes out from this grouping of ads is this little void orb. You can kind of see orbiting towards the top of the screen there, top right. That thing is going to be pulling you when you get close to it. It's going to kind of be sucking you into its orbit. It starts out kind of patrolling the outer edge of the arena, and when the third ad, the Magus, comes out, it'll kind of gravitate towards the center, which just makes everything way more hectic. Its strength might even get a little bit greater too. So here we're just damaging, we're interrupting Emptiness of the Void every time it comes out. We're throwing everything we got. I'm not too concerned about cooldowns right now. I'm just throwing everything I got at him to get him to 50%. Just kind of blasting away here. We're going to try to strategically keep him in the middle so that when the Magus comes out, the Magus will always come out in the middle. So we want to kind of try to keep him parked here so we can just kind of blow up the Magus as much as we can and then turn to him and keep our eye on Emptiness of the Void. So my mana's in a really good place. I've been sparingly using Word of Glory. I do believe I used a mana pot to get that mana back up a little bit so it can start kind of trying to crawl its way back up as much as it can. All right, we're just damaging. Had to move him, unfortunately. We got unlucky with the RNG. Got a streak right down the middle. Okay, we're keeping our eyes peeled on that orb because that thing, it doesn't damage again, but it does kind of pull you away. It makes it really complicated when you're trying to get some of those healing hearts there from Valeera. I am using the curio that gives a bubble when you hit 40% health. It's like every minute and a half. So we have that one. Now the Magus is out, so we're going to send it on the Magus. We're going to throw the drums down. We're going to hit the combat potion. And we're going to just try to do as much damage as humanly possible. We're going to hold the Divine Shield. We want to hold that for when Nullaeus comes back up. We're not interrupting any of his skills. We're just purely damaging. The skills don't really do too much damage. In fact, they really don't do anything at all. But the threat is when they're both up. The combination of the two hits at the same time can kill you. So we need this guy gone. And we're just blasting away. The combat potion's doing a lot of work here. All right, so Nullaeus is back up. We did not get the Magus killed. We're going to Divine Shield and get in there and finish him off. Every once in a while, you see those purple tendrils that come up. That's one of the curios. That's the healing, the one that gives you the shield at 40%. That debuffs them for 10 seconds. I think it's 10 seconds with 10% increased damage. So if that comes up on an ad, it's great. It really, really helps. So that was a lucky cast. Okay, he's dead. So now the damage is just going to crank through the roof here. So we need to just be saving as much as we can for Word of Glory. So we're going to spam Word of Glory. If we can get in like a Templar Strike, we're going to do it. But we're just going to keep going on Word of Glory. I'm okay right here, so I'm just spamming some damage. Get that damage reduction from Word of Glory as much as we can. And we're just going to keep pumping. I'm not even worrying about his health. I'm not looking at his health. I don't want to know what it is. I just want to survive. So I'm doing everything in my power to generate holy power and then heal myself with Word of Glory. I guess something else that's really important to note too is the health potion and the mana potion don't share cooldown. So definitely bring a health potion with. That will save you in some of these instances. Here I got really lucky. My health was just absolutely hairline, and he didn't crit when he hit me next, which didn't kill me, which was just insanely lucky. So we're just pumping, healing up whenever we've got some power. And again, we're standing in those circles as much as we can. Green and purple are our focus. Purple is going to give you probably a little bit better survivability because of the damage reduction and just how hard he hits. So prioritize purple if you can. Grab hearts whenever you see them. And don't step in the purple on the floor. The purple on the floor, I believe, does 220,000 or something like that per second. I think I mentioned that earlier, but you just really don't want to play around with the stuff on the floor. And that's it. So I think the most important things were making sure we use Word of Glory with the talent that gives us the 20% damage reduction. We have the talent on Lay on Hands that gives us 30% damage reduction. And then last but not least, we have the talent for Divine Shield that lets us use that with Forbearance. Some of the other guides have talents selected where when you get healing, it goes out to your allies. We don't really need that. She's just fine as a healer. There's another talent that you take certain amounts of damage. I think it's Blessing of Dawn. We don't need that either. She's completely fine. You saw she didn't die at all. She was level 25 in this fight. And then the other curio I used was, I believe the one that gives you like a 10% damage increase every minute and a half or something like that. I forgot what it's called, but that's basically it. Yep, so that's it. So good luck, everybody. I hope that this helped a little bit. It's definitely harder than a lot of people online make it out to be. You really do get pumped in that last like 15%. He really throws hands, so you got to make sure that you're just spamming defensives as much as humanly possible. I used the Dwarf Racial as much as I could. Just everything, just every single defensive that you can possibly imagine. If there's trinkets out there, I think there's an Ultradon scale that's a trinket that gives you a nice absorb shield. If you've got that, I'm sure that would be hugely helpful here, just so you can kind of cycle that with your other shields. So anyways, yeah, I hope this was helpful.